questions and theories. Now, Kirby's Dream Land is reported to be perfect for children. Now, to be a child and to be close to God and to be around angels, I was raised around Game Boy in a perfect world and everything perfect. Each discharge on every battery in slow motion to communicate with the 9-volt communicator, and then the perfect plastic cradle for our machine to go through these different, so thousands of different cartridges. How many cartridges are going to cycle the friction points on my cartridges, and the Big Bang generator, so thousands of Big Bangs going off as a sign of beauty and a sign of accomplishment. The friction on the games as they slide in, and just how much friction, how the sliding and the connection, and then the first raw intake of sliding the on switch on and realizing whether it was $10 million, $500, $200, $20, to be there in the actual epicenter of such birth. 50.00. And then comes the video games and stuff. Mom and me as a child, the numbers just kept going to Walmart and seeing smiles. Learned to love Walmart a lot. The game case, and to see stuff like this, Kirby's Dream Land. Now this is Kirby's Return to Dreamland, and what I was actually looking for was just basically Kirby's Dream Land, but in 3D, or just something pushing the limits of whatever this beautiful Wii was or something. And to understand Kirby's Dream Land was important, and it's the colors beautiful. Everything's beautiful. Now to see the colors in 3D, in physical reality, how beautiful just this in my hand is, that's enough. Like a gold rare Pokemon card. Now this disc says, now that's me opening this, and then, see, this is about sex ed then, and it's about girls, because obviously there's either focusing on this, or focusing on why do you have cucumbers and condoms, and then to understand, well, that's just a head start on, I personally think it's a suggestion about angels, how to put a condom on. It can show you, those are different options on what your worth is, about sex ed and talking about sex. Now keeping virgins and keeping girls safe forever is a real polite gesture. That means no sex, no interest, and then comes being interested in sex and understanding that there's a lot to learn about sex. And this is a bird cage, and as you know, beautiful birds are out. And I had to secure the house to make sure that this house, as you can tell, see that crack right there? A bird can slip under that crack, and they can run out real quick, and they can run around and stuff. So as a parent and as a dad, when I'm concerned, I have to make sure the house is perfect. So what I did was I made sure that room was safe. I already safety-proofed the whole house, locked the house, everything's all secured. This house, now, with what I've got, as if the Paper Mario 10,000-year-old door and these other Paper Mario franchise, and this huge video, not that big. So let's do a test. How long does it take to upload an inauguration video, yet still hasn't talked about what do I think about this brand new Super Mario Archive, and just to know, even putting a picture of our universe, a picture of our solar system, a picture of stars in formation as a starting point, and even got the three-dimensional hypersphere, a sphere and a circle. It got so much that this game right here is more than an enticement. It's a real essence of it's got a lot, and it's awesome. So this one actually coincided with it due to the internet. I looked up what is this game, and it said, oh, it's about something about a book that had pages deleted. So when you understand my life and my life story, I could get involved in this game and play it for the next like 2 years and become like the best at it or something, you know? And then comes like giving this game a lot of time and energy, and it turns into something amazing. And this book to be a witness then of me and my wife, and filling in the pages and leaving it on and playing it and knowing that I don't want my Wii to cook discs. If it cooked a disc, because I don't know how hot it gets to run it for weeks on end and just allow it to play around with itself. Now, a non-entropy zone, which stood for like staying around forever, unlimited beauty of perfection, unlimited birth perfection, and eternalized. So to be eternally perfect, that would mean that this never fails. I never come in here clumsy and knock it over. No gust of wind through the window, you know, no flood, no something that could shut it down. So the Kirby's Dreamland disc has the capacity to shut it down, yet it asks me to get up and turn it off. And it's because the Kirby's Dreamland disc came, so I see scratches on it. Now, to see scratches on it means it can be refurbished if you have the right devices, or it needs to refurbished means what already happened, and because I can see the refurbished like stuff on it. Now, I don't want to make like a long video about talking about it yet. I'm so excited about this, seeing the colors, looking at the disc. To see a disc, remember, Nintendo used to be no discs. Nintendo used to be like ROMs or like SD card or something, and like we would go to the Walmart to like get our new release, and it comes on SD card, and you put your SD card in. Now, welcome to like enhanced Wii, or a Wii that has Wii card slot right there. So to know that that's instant memory upgrade, and to really customize your Wii experience for your children and for your mom and for anyone that was for my wife, it's to customize our Wii experience. So to know that it would have been a huge, tremendous success to make a perfect for my wife. Now, to know what we were doing for Mary, the Virgin Mary, like stuff. So it was like the Virgin Mary discs and the Virgin Mary games as a tribute to Mary, a Virgin Mary Wii, a Virgin Mary this. It was all about tributes to Mary and dedicating stuff to Mary. And then to know to make it more dedicated to Mary would be to take SD card, which I have SD card, so it just walks in-house to SD card. And yes, I have SD card reader, I have SD card slot on my custom computer, and then, you know, spending some time or some prayers or some CGI or whatever I think, you know, because it's like whatever I think best Mary is what it is. It's like looking at these pictures or these gatherings on Google, or on like, you know, something to do with computers being around for a while, and computers really trying to figure out what's going on, and like the word Mary, the name Mary, the arrangement of letters to be Mary, and then to talk about Mary, and then to know about Mary. And when I was praying and talking to God and going to church, God was always telling me my wife's Mary, and it was really good. And to know that I'm the luckiest, happiest, most blessed boy ever, and just to really understand, to let that settle in, like how blessed and how happy, and it's always been that way, surreal happy, and it's always perfect. And then the orgasm, my first orgasm was amazing, because the whole sex education, and it made me become chronically, like, I'm gonna always, I want it. I understand there's something called, you know, it's like, you don't want it. You've surpassed something where, you've just suppressed something where you're just, it's out of sight, out of mind, like, I'm focused on other stuff. Like, I'm spending 10 years of doing something else, like, I'm gonna go build my own game console and dedicate it to Mary, and know that, like, standing out in a field and looking out of a field, looking at a field, you realize, even digging with your hands in the bare mud, even doing whatever you were doing on the surface of that world with your bare hands, just like, you're really gonna start up a Game Boy with your bare hands out there, and what's gonna happen when you're out at Mother Nature, staring at Mother Nature and wondering, like, when you've been exposed to machines, computers, technology, stuff, like civilizations, and you've seen that stuff, and you know that, like, the plastic, and then I think what it's called is an industry, and then a ore, and the ore being something that can be found on your world, or something about your existence, and it means perhaps something of worth value, or carrying something, or it might be food, or it might be video games, or it might be, see, these are like higher leveled ores, and then perhaps labeling stuff as lower leveled ores, and realizing certain ores are really complicated. Like, these ores are already complicated. Like, you start up Kirby, see, already been cleaned, the white, like, ring around it, so it's scratched. It's a scratched disc, yet I'm excited to check out Kirby's Dream Land. Now someone's daughter, someone's baby, my daughter, my baby, exposed to Kirby's Dream Land on Wii and on Game Boy. My daughter, my baby, exposed to these games, and then to know that when their time is so valuable and their brains are so precious and everything about them so pure, to script my own games and make them so loving, that was like this. It attempted to let you know, you can make an actual storybook, like, as if it was mom or dad, like, as if I coded this game and made it so that children can actually play it and it's actually safe for the babies, coding it differently and figuring out, like, what the perfect game would be for my children. Now, extra dimensional overdrive might be, like, what this stuff is called, and to start up, like, F-Zero or something, that new PSP, or like the Nintendo PSP, and not sure where it comes from, what it's about, don't know if it's about money or if it's about, like, gaming or making someone smile, or just extra dimensional, like that, like a god particle of devices, because it's like, you got one of those and it's got, like, one of those F-Zero games on it, and it's just overdriving colors and stuff, and it's safe for your children, like, super safe for your children, like, so the music top notch, you know, and the music's safe too, when everything's safe for your children. And to know that this right here might be adult video game due to the essence of it not just racing. If it was just like Sonic Adventure 2, and it's just an adventure, and it's just running through levels at high speed and using your soap shoes to grind on things, and having the best time of your life while, like, flying around going super fast, and I think even crashing into robots or crashing into something, aka, like, that's when the coins would come out, and, like, that stuff might startle my children and stuff, so maybe it'd be, like, impossible to lose your coins. So when someone said this game's really easy, and it's one of those types of gestures, like, for children, you know, where, like, see, they're still on an adventure, they're all friends and stuff, compared to, like, now I see it again. This is what it did to me last time too. See? The look on that face and what it's holding and stuff like that. I'm concerned. Like, this would have been, if talking about me, it was like, I got a actual physical, it's called a forehead, VHS player, and it had this Indian in the cupboard video, and it like the Indian, and I would have scripted this movie to be the Indian comes out with like love and joy and like, you know, a very beautiful existence. The rainbows are like going everywhere, like everything's all super amazing. Yet the one that I had was a little bit interesting. It was the color of heaven though, and it was gold, and my surroundings was all gold in the color of heaven. All it took was me to just walk away from the TV, and multiple times I walked away from the TV. Yet I was one of those children that had those VHS cassettes rewound and played at least 5 to 8 times. Now the one that I had, there's a scene where the Indian is holding something like that Kirby's holding, and it was one of those where it was like, I'd changed the games to be more like what Mario's doing. He's having a real good time. He's having a great time, and exploration. Now, to start off this game, and I did, and then to not be clumsy, see, to like my shoulders movement is real enough to like touch and move, so believe me, shoulder has capacity to knock over drink. And then when drink knocked on floor, the ants, see? The little ants. Now me, I try to take care of ants. They're good. Now, to turn this into like a Virgin Mary console or based off of like everything Mary, and it's important because of the surface of this world, dedicating my house to Mary, dedicating it to angels, dedicating it to heaven, and dedicating it to the safest child ever, the most beautiful angel ever, the best birth ever, the best husband, the best wife, everything perfect. And to know that basing stuff in how perfect we really are and how perfect everything is and how perfect God is and God and angels and everything, and just to know that that stuff is super amazing. And what we've got going on here is all sorts of things happening really quickly. And that's like the startup of one of these video games that shows you like its actual load point references and some kind of digital like talks back to you, digital kind of like how does it talk back. And to know that hypothetically in theory, if you have the ability to talk and then have control over your talking, which I do have the ability to jump up and start yelling and screaming and making high-pitched noises and weird stuff happening, yet then comes staying linear, relaxing, and realizing I'm not tired and I'm not out of it, and I'm not like doped up and like stoned or groggy. It's like I'm ready to go all over the place and do everything perfect for my wife. It's no stereotype. I'm ready to do everything perfect for my wife. And that's why it takes my wife talking to me and it being genuine, my real wife. And then her talking to me and being really genuine about what she says and what she wants to tell me and what I want to do and how I'm going to do it. And she has to be super loyal to me. And that's what's really important. Her being loyal to me forever. Her loyalty back in time and her loyalty in the future. A real, genuine, loyal husband and a genuine, loyal wife. Hence, virgin for a reason, and the virginity symbolizing us staying together forever. We stay together forever, and then the only way that she won't be a virgin anymore is me, my penis, my sex, my intercourse, my mind, my total absorption and enjoyment of the experience, treating her as best as possible, and then staying with her forever, and making a staying forever. That is forever. So billions of zillions of years, forever, staying together forever, and the sex being genuine and being a real commitment that lasts forever, and being a virgin that lasts forever, and putting the SD card into the like a hyper-driven Wii or something. I don't know what it is. The codes, the scripts or whatever it is, to make this Wii some sort of God particle area that, just like a God particle or something. This area treated as a function or something, and then the communication and the chatter of the Wii when looking down on this place from extra dimensions or the right vantage point or something that can look at this and then said what it looks like, and then what I look like, what the computer looks like, what the nutrients and the food, and then what it looks like to the machine, what it looks like to the visitor, what it looks like to the extra dimensional being, and then what it looks like to me. And what it looks like to me is an area that is eternal, and that I can be real careful not to move too quickly, because I don't want to kick over any of these drinks. I don't want to kick over a Wii. I don't want to kick over an LED screen. And I want my Wii remotes to last forever now, to know that no wear and tear, kind of like as if they were kept in a vacuum chamber, or something like a time capsule where it's like these don't have wear and tear compared to wear and tear, and eventually it stops working reliably. Now, to know how to repair it piece by piece compared to no repairs required, compared to it's a starting point. Now this, as a starting point, and it's a gift, because to know how to design, assemble, and then to know that yours truly, a couple $100 later, you could have a couple of these, a couple piles of them, and or custom order them from the future, from the year 60 billion. You could say, hey, I want to have a couple fresh, Wii remotes so I can play Wii again in the future, and know that they'll be perfect and working as if it was yesterday. So as if it was yesterday, 60,000 billion years in the future, and stuff that's brand new, crisp, fresh, and then maybe perhaps the original experience enhanced, and that's called like plus origin, or enhanced experience. And that's what's been going on with these smartphone Galaxy. Enhanced experience. And to know that that's focusing, it's got real focusing, and like, it's just very interesting that, to talk about, the core value of what Super Mario taught me. And then me, summoned by angels and by God to masturbate, and that's like using your hand to ejaculate by orgasm or by stimulation, which is cyclical repetitions or something that just becomes natural. And then to know that girl that tries or succeeded, or it takes a long time and technique, and girl that I really excited and really happy about, girl interacting with me sexually, girl touching me with her hand, girl touching me with her vagina, girl touching me with her mouth, girl touching me in all sorts of ways, and it being sex, and it's full-blown sex, and it lasts forever, and we continue to have sex forever, and slow motion sex where to us it felt just right. It's slow motion yet and forever, and slow motion forever sex. And to know that to have slow motion forever sex, and then to be sped up and to understand that it felt like 5 hours, it felt like 2 minutes, it felt just right, yet it had been like 16,000 years. So to know that every time that I was doing my perfect wife, having sex with my perfect wife, putting my penis erect inside of her perfect vagina and sliding it all the way in, pushing all the way, and then ejaculating all the way in her, and no birth control pills were being taken, ever, because I said, God forbid you forever taking birth control, and continued to ejaculate inside of my wife. Now, how much sperm? A lot. Lost track of how many times I deeply exploded inside of her vagina, and I know that the experience it was almost like that. Like a pop or something, like when I, released my sperm, it was like perfect, like real perfect, like inside and then pops out, and then an angel, and then having sex with the angel of my dreams, and then to know that my dreams, encryptions on my sperm, and then my sperm going into my wife are the perfect eggs, and then to know that her eggs with my sperm, and then the baby to turn out like the girl of my dreams and stuff like that. And then it's like that, like to know that that was something that I wanted to do and experiment with, was having sex, raising babies, and then having sex with my children, and it being in the future is fine. And my wife, and her permission, and her consent, and my consent, and my God-given grace, and my God-given parameters that I get to have sex with my wife. And if my wife's children and my children are smart, and we take them to school, and we breed them to be high-class civilians, that by the time my wife is 35, or by the time my daughter is 25, and I'm still with my daughter every day of my life, and I stay with my daughter forever. My daughter's my best friend, my daughter's my angel, I treat her as my wife because she is. She grew from my wife, and she grew from my seed, she grew from my wife's seed. That's us together forever, and to just know that's my best friend, that's my wife, that's my daughter, that's my angel, and to stay with her forever, and to make sure that her loyalty and what she comprehends and how she digests information, and she doesn't like any type of lures. She doesn't want something else or someone else coming up with a language or trying to communicate with her in a way that makes her feel like she's unsure about where she wants to be or what she wants to do. What she wants is to be with me, and she wants to stay with me forever. And it's the truth. And it's real. My daughter staying with me forever. Me being her dad, me being her husband, me being her alpha and omega, her everything. Me being her perfect everything. And it's a perfect love story, it's a perfect romance, and everything's perfect. And we stay together forever. And me and my wife stay together forever. And it's good. And we literally stay together forever. And it's the way that the vibrations in the air and the surroundings and everything has been. And to know that when my wife encounters me, has control over my erections, and I'm not putting, first would come cracking the embryo of this root. This root can be planted, and it might grow. And it's kind of like one of biology's outputs or functions, or a meteoritizimal, to know that on the surface of our world, it's something else. It's like space debris. Now those are the contemplation points from a physics-saturated mind. It was like space debris. Kind of like a robot from space that's like, hey, what's up? And then comes characters and being like, how are you doing? I'm like a robot from space. I'm a building block. Look, I blend into your surroundings. I didn't grow from the floor, though. I grew from somewhere else. But I'm still growing, so if I grow, and then I grow from the floor, and I go somewhere, so thanks for not eating me, and that's like not eating this. Then came the killing of it, having tools, dissecting it, and then inside of it, if you lick it and you start chewing on it, it's really spicy. It tastes and feels great, but it's spicy. and then to spit that spice on my penis and to start ejaculating, it makes me ejaculate even more. And I ejaculate like 4 times. And it's with this root right here. It's called ginger root. And ginger root is something that, as you know, it does have symbolic meaning to me. That to grow from this biological growth, this is called a ginger root, and then to know not to squeeze it too hard, not to be too aggressive, and to allow this to grow, compared to not allowing this to grow. Steeping it is what used to happen. It used to be about steeping it. Steeping it was the essence of, on the stove, getting hot water ready. And then when the hot water's ready, you slice this into as many pieces as you'd like and put it into the water. And then it changes the chemistry and the composition of the water. And then later you drink it, or you pour it on your body parts and try to see if you still get a thrill or if something happens to you. Normally, we know that ginger's safe, and that's why it's here, and you can get it. If something's not safe, usually you can't get it. And the way to get stuff that's safe is when it's actually safe. And trust this. What I want more than anything is to raise my daughter, and I don't want to get sidetracked or distracted by video games or by going to college or just drinking or eating or sleeping, or I just want my wife. And when it comes to me masturbating and dreaming about my wife and praying for my wife and just dedicating all of my masturbation to my wife, I feel like I'd rather her be masturbating me. I'd rather just ejaculating into her vagina, or having sex with her vagina, or having sex with her butthole, or having sex with her mouth, or having sex with her hand, or just having sex in all sorts of ways. And I do understand that masturbation is a form of sex. So when real, looking at her, staring at her in the eyes and being like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna have babies, we're gonna have sex, it's basically like claiming my wife and saying we're having sex right now, like, and then real sex, and to know that my erection and her vagina and it going into her vagina, and then her sliding her way down and then going all the way in, and then it being all the way in and it fits just right, and her saying, wow, that feels great, and then comes back and forth motions, circles, having fun, and then comes going up and down on it for a while. Going up and down on it's going to make me ejaculate very quickly, if it's what I do believe what it always is a perfect tight vagina that's perfectly wet and perfectly feels good. And it feels great. It feels great for her. It feels so good for her that she moans, she makes loud noises in a good way, like orgasming, and it's over and over and over again, all night long, as loud as needed to be. And sometimes it